they're not customers, they're guests. They're
True.
guests at your house, they're
Dope.
guests at your bar.
Yeah.
And you just treat them as you want to be treated. I mean, I know like here, the great thing is like, if I'm really busy, I'll acknowledge you. I'm like, hey, I'll be right with you. That just bought yourself 30 seconds. But if you're just ignoring someone, it doesn't. So it's just one of those things that I just apply how I want to be treated when I go to a bar.
All right, it's Brocky here. New episode when we're at Cherry Blossom Pop-Up Bar in Washington, D.C. And I'm here with Will Alvarez. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Hey, man, welcome to the show, man. I'm glad you made it and glad we're able to put this thing together.
Yeah, man, it's been great seen good friends of mine doing the episodes with you, so I kind of want to jump on that.
Yeah, those guys jumped all over from the beginning, so here we are. Awesome. And the timing is perfect because we're at this whole Cherry Blossom theme, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's get into you first, man. So let's, where are you from originally? And
I'm one of the few and the proud. I want to say kind of like the Marines. I'm born and raised here in D.C.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to Oyster Elementary. I went to Alice Teal Junior High, and then went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
So after high school, I understand you're a vet?
Yes, I was a vet. I served, went to Afghanistan, Iraq, did a deployment.
Straight out of school?
Yeah.
Word.
About a year. I'll be
Okay.
honest. I bounced around for a year.
Yeah. How long did you do in the military?
I was out. Got out in 2009.
Oh, word. Okay. I'm Air Force, man. So I was 7 years in the Air Force. So yeah, what they call us the Chair Force,
The
right?
Chair Force.
People love the Air Force. So how'd you you have siblings? You're the only child, or?
No, I do have a sister.
Oh, okay,
sister,
word.
Yeah.
And your whole family, are you like first generation here in DC, or?
I am. Believe it or not, I'm first generation born from both sides of my family. My mom and dad are both from El Salvador.
Oh, dope.
And I'm actually the very first, first generation.
Word,
very first
Washington,
baby born
D.C.
in D.C., yeah.
That's dope. So, so you did your military thing, and then you came back to DC?
I did. I came back to D.C. I was deployed and bounced around a couple countries, couple places, but came back home.
Okay.
And then, I was a military contractor for a little bit.
Okay.
And then I bartended. I was still moonlighting, bartending here and there. And then one day I just made the decision to make it my career. It's a happier medium. It was much better. I felt better about what I was doing. And it just seemed like the military contracting thing was just boring.
And it's funny because I'm a military contractor. Well, I understand exactly what you mean, brother. Yeah. So we're trying to get this whiskey and kicks thing popping, so we can move on from that too, maybe one day. So your bartending situation, did it start here in DC? Have you only bartended here, or you been like Virginia, Maryland, or anywhere else?
I bartended Virginia, Maryland, Virginia briefly. I bartended a couple little spots in Virginia. I was living in Virginia for maybe about a year.
Okay.
So yeah, those places no longer exist. You know how fickle and how bubbles here in DC.
No doubt.
This area. A restaurant, a bar pops up tomorrow, another two go. So yeah, but no, most of everything I've done has been here in DC.
Okay, so what's one of the things you love about the DC bartending culture, though?
I think just the support and the camaraderie. It's just like I literally can say that. Some of these guys not only are my co-workers or people in the industry, but they're actually friends of mine. They're people I go on vacation and hang out with.
Yeah, I've been noticing that as I've gotten out and spoken with a few people, how together it is. We talked about that off camera a little bit. And it's like, hey, I know someone who works here. I can plug you in and stuff like that. So it's really dope, man. I know that's not something that I'm going to come across in other cities once we start branching out. Yeah. Not all of them. Some of them maybe, but DC really has that thing together. You guys are like a family.
Yeah, totally. And we try to travel and try to support each other. I mean, there's events in New York. There's been events in Miami. We've actually gone as a crew down there. So it's
right.
Kind of cool to see us like that as a team.
So one of the things I met you, we were in, I was in 521, chilling with French, having one of those Cokie Beaches, and you came in and, you're a cool guy, man. Like, you seem like a really good people person. And one question I had is, is there anything from your childhood, your upbringing, that kind of lends to you being the way that you are, like a real people person? I can tell.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just my mom and my family always imparted to be genuine and be yourself.
No doubt.
I've tried to be like, oh, not gonna talk. I don't hold grudges. I can't hold grudges. I'm really, really bad at that. So it's just me being genuine. It's just how I was brought up.
That's good stuff, man. So I looked on your Instagram and I saw, trying to do a little bit of research, trying to find out about the guy before I talked to him. And I saw this trip to France that you took. So one of my episodes, I had a Corpse Survivor #1.
Okay.
All right. So Jake put the guy has Calvados in it. So I wanted to talk to you about, one, your trip, how that was, and two, about Calvados, how you feel about it.
I love Calvados. It's one of those things that I used to just drink during fall because it's very fall. Apple, you think of apple pies and things of caramelized apples. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So it's I actually enjoy it and just love it. And it's one of those things that when we went to France, we got to go to Cognac, we got to go to Calvados, we got to go to various places. And yeah, it was mind blowing. It was the best trip of my life.
So explain to people what Calvados is actually.
Okay, so Calvados is French brandy. It's French apple brandy. It's made in a particular area of France, mostly Normandy.
Okay.
And it could be a combination of two things. It could be a combination of just apples. It has to be completely apples. It has to have some form of apples, and then pear.
Okay.
And you can do a combination of both.
Okay. So your trip from a cognac perspective, because cognac is one of those spirits that it's like Scotch for me. I'm learning Scotch now, and I had to set time aside to learn cognac. What did you learn about cognac while you were out there?
Cognac, I learned that there's so many just besides Grand and Petit Champagne, there's just so many regions. But we got to go, we actually went to Martel, which is the border lees, which is I don't want to sound like no pun intended, but it's actually borders. It's actually almost on the way out of the Cognac region.
Oh, okay, word.
So, and it was funny because I had learned about Petit and Grand Champagne, but I had never learned about the subtleties between the flavors between all these different regions within Cognac.
Okay,
So
word.
it was really, really intense. It was great.
How long were you out there?
I was total of by myself because the guys I was with, they ended up doing, I think, just 10 days. I ended up staying for 12.
Oh,
I had
word.
2 more days in Paris, and they ended up flying to Vienna. So,
Okay. So those 2 more unplanned days?
Yeah, they just bounced around. I was in Paris, went to a couple of really cool cocktail bars. I just enjoyed it. Man.
Word. So one of the things I learned about you when I met you, I heard you mention that you have a nice little collection of...
I do. Of spirits. I do. I try to... Every time I travel, I try to get something you can't find in the States.
No doubt.
I went to Cuba twice last year, so I brought a lot of Cuban rum back.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. I have 1 bottle in my house.
I have a couple of those, and then when I went to France and Austria, I brought back a bottle of Nika, which is funny because we're doing Japanese now. Of the Nika still, or the Nika still proof or cast strength, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not found here in the States.
Word.
So, yeah. It's a little hard to come by.
You ever crack these things open? Or
I do.
You do?
Unfortunately, sometimes I've been having a couple of drinks too much, or have really good friends, or a special occasion I do.
No, if you had to estimate how many bottles you have, what would you think?
Right now, last time I checked, I just picked up 3 more. So I want to say about 77.
Word.
Yeah.
But this is all stuff we pretty much can't find.
No, it's a lot of stuff you can find stateside.
Okay,
but,
word.
I collect, I've done... A lot of bottles I've gotten are mezcal too, because I'm a brand ambassador for a mezcal company as well.
Okay, and we're gonna get into that in a couple minutes. Man, I got some stuff to talk about with that.
Cool.
All right, so what we drinking on here, man? What we got?
So what you got is there's Tokyo. It's a reference to Godzilla with your cherry blossom pub, Godzilla. So you got Fuji and Gala apple juice.
Okay.
You can actually fresh squeeze every day. And then you got a mixture of Toki, Suntory Toki, which is a Japanese blended whiskey, and Redbreast, 12-year-old
Irish whiskey. Yeah. Japanese whiskey, Irish whiskey.
Totally.
Apple
Yeah,
juice.
it works really well because you got that sort of peatiness and smoke note that Japanese blended whiskey has, and then you have that kind of honey heather that Irish whiskey has.
As you can see, I'm ready to drink this shit, right?
Yeah.
Please
take a sip.
What's going on?
It's very deceiving
Ooh,
too.
man.
It's very deceiving.
Oh, this is a dangerous one here.
It's very, very deceiving.
It is very deceiving. This is a very fresh cocktail. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can taste the red breast in there though.
Totally.
Yep, I can taste the red breast in there, and it's not that smoky. Is the Japanese whiskey?
Yeah, it's a blend. I mean, the best way to describe it is more like Johnny Walker Red, kind of that blend. It still has a slight tinge of it, because if you see Redbreast and Irish whiskey, to me it's like pot still. It always tastes like Christmas pudding. It tastes like a lot of things, a lot of sweet things. So that's why I think that cocktail works so well, especially for a show like we're doing.
Right,
whiskey.
right.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the cocktail?
There Goes Tokyo.
There Goes Tokyo.
A reference to Godzilla when Godzilla's coming in.
Yeah, they tore shit up. I used to watch that shit all the time when I was a kid. That is. I wish you had one too, man.
No, I got a long shift ahead of me. Yeah.
For sure, man. Is this a pretty popular drink on the
It is that, and I would have to say, trying to think, which is the pina colada, which is a riff on a pina colada. We make it with red bean paste, which is very popular in Japanese cooking, and it's served in a neko tiki cat. So people just love that drink.
The apple juice is so fresh, man. This is some good stuff right here, brother. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Sip on this for the rest of the episode and see how everything turns out after this, and hopefully we make it to the end of the show.
Those go down pretty easy, man.
I could just sip on this thing all day. You wouldn't know until you got up from your stool to walk out of the place, and all of a sudden it's a problem.
I've seen a few guests.
No doubt. All right, so let's talk about this Cherry Blossom pop-up bar. Okay. What's the whole concept, man?
So the concept is it's a rotating concept. So we've been last year we did Cherry Blossom, and we did Mario. And why you ask how that works is because they're all Japanese things.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Godzilla this year.
True.
And last year we had Mario, which Nintendo was created by.
True indeed.
Made in Japan.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So this whole how long does each theme go for?
It depends. This time around we're doing it for all the way through April 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this started what? The Cherry Blossom part started on March 1st. And so we're in the room that we're in now is
the atrium.
The atrium.
The atrium.
All right, this is where everybody wants to be, from what I understand.
Totally.
Right. So then you have the front bar, and then on the other side you have a whole Godzilla situation.
Yeah, it's called Tokyo Bar.
The Tokyo Bar.
It's meant to be. There's an alley actually in Tokyo that has not changed since 1950s.
Oh, word.
So it's supposed to mimic that.
Oh, for real? Yeah. Okay, so it's something for people to look forward to when they come here. But from what I understand, the lines are crazy. They open at 5 o'clock, but the lines are starting at like what?
The lines, yeah. I mean, on a weekend, they can start up to 3:30, 4 o'clock just before. Weekdays tends to be a little bit quieter. But for the most part, yeah, there's always a line to begin with.
That's crazy. So, and you guys had was it Lord of the Rings? What's the other thing?
No, we had Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. I've never watched that show, but Game of Thrones thing, I heard it was nuts during that whole situation.
Game of Thrones was crazy. I was managing on Friday nights, and the longest line we had, the longest wait, I estimated about 8 hours.
People waited 8 hours to get in?
Yeah, it was an
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was
nuts.
Yeah, it was like something I've never seen before. Like just the lines and just people just waiting out there. And I would tell them, hey, like we might not be able to get in today. And they're like, that's fine, I'll wait.
I'll wait. That is
and it was in the middle of the summer. It was pretty warm, but it was great. It was great to have such enthusiasm. But people just loved it, and just lines and just coming and see us, and it felt kind of really great because you're like, man, you take it for granted you bartending in a place that has such a great following.
Crazy, son. And how long have you been with these guys?
I've been doing it now. But I used to work for Columbia Room.
Okay.
So this is the same drink company. It was Columbia Room. And then I came and started, done pretty much as my 6th rotation now, I want to say. I'm treating it like a combat.
Right, rotation.
It's my 6th inception of it. We've done 2 Christmas bars. I've done 2 Cherry Blossoms, done 1 Halloween bar, and then this.
And how many years have this place been?
This is for what's been open now. It's about to go to 2 years.
Damn, that's 2 years. This is my first time here today.
Because the very first Christmas bar, they did one very, very first Christmas bar was only just this bar.
Oh, word.
And those walls weren't taken down.
Oh, so they bought out the other.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so that's 3. It's like 3 buildings right here.
There's 3 buildings. There's always been under the same management, but for once pop-up started getting really
popular stuff.
Yeah, they started. They're like, well, maybe there's a business in just doing this full time.
Word. So this is going to the 29th. So as the doors shut on the 29th, how long does it take to strip this down and get a whole new theme?
That's a good question. It depends on when the next theme pops up. It could be anywhere from 3 months to 5 days. And I mean,
Holy crap.
these guys are, they're masters of what they do. They're really, really efficient. They design, I mean, the design and how to take everything apart, it's down to, I mean, it's down to a science.
Is it like the same team that comes in?
It is. It's actually headed by two people. That's, and they, this is their whole thing is just, they design and work on it. And then we have numerous volunteers as well.
Dope, yeah. Shit, well, I might come volunteer for something like that. Get my back, see if my back is together first. So this is not technically a Japanese bar, though, as far as the whiskey's concerned?
No, the whiskey's concerned, yeah. We're using everything, even our cocktails are a lot of Japanese influence in them.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, most of our whiskey selection is Japanese.
Okay, all right, yeah. So Game of Thrones, though,
Game of Thrones was a little bit everywhere, but we had Scotch. We had like a Scotch.
Heavy. Okay, that
makes
makes
it was kind of like
then.
to make sense, you know, like kind of, you know, like we had a drink called the North Remembers, and it was basically a riff on a pina colada, but it had Scotch in it.
Okay, that's dope. Oh, that sounds
Scotch
crazy.
And sherry, which is really, really great. Yeah.
That sounds crazy, man. This is definitely something I recommend to people. I'm gonna come back here soon, probably on Friday, to get my little sip on and see what's really going on with this spot, man. I've heard a lot about it, and I'm happy to be in here today. It's beautiful. I mean, aesthetically, you know, the flowers, the butterflies actually move. Yeah. Which, sitting here talking to you, and like in the corner of my eye, I see something moving. I'm like, what the hell? It's a butterfly. Okay.
Yeah, no, when I bartend, the same thing. I'm in this bar, it's kind of like, and it's kind of quiet. I'm kind of like, yeah. I have to remind myself that they're not actually alive.
So you're a brand ambassador too.
I am. I'm a brand ambassador for Mezcales de Leyenda, which is a mezcal company. We are based out of Mexico City, and we have about 7 or 8 different expressions.
Okay.
But they are per state, and every denomination of origin every state has its own varietal of agave. And our company focuses on that native varietal of agave of that state.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
It sounds a lot to
No,
yeah, but it's really, really interesting because it tells you, it's like kind of the thing when you winemakers, terroir or earth or what, and it changes. It is what it does. It changes flavor. It changes pretty much everything. It's such an interesting spirit to deal with, mezcal. Even though I've done whiskey, I was a brand ambassador for a whiskey company as well, so my knowledge of whiskey is pretty good.
Right.
But it's just really, really interesting to work with a spirit such as mezcal.
So you, just by becoming a brand ambassador, I know it entails a lot of things, but do you learn a lot through that process
Totally,
too?
you have to. I mean, it's your livelihood. I mean, you want to go into a place and you're selling something, you better know what you're talking about.
That's
and
dope.
Processes and everything. And it's good to, I started whiskey and now I do mezcal. So
Okay, I could dig that, man. Yeah. I can see you doing something like that because, like I said earlier, you're a people person, man. So, you know, I rock with you, and that's good, man. I know you do good with it. How long have you been a brand ambassador?
I've been a brand ambassador now. I started with Angels Envy about 2014.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm going on almost. I signed a contract. So about 4 years I've been doing it.
Word.
And I've done Pisco, which is a Peruvian brandy. I've done that, and then now mezcal. And I kind of actually sought it out. I actually looked for this job. I actually love this stuff so much. I met one of the head brand ambassadors and was like, if you're interested, here's my card.
I can dig that. All right, you know me. Hey, throw it out there.
Sometimes you got to pursue what you want in life.
I tell my son all the time, closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, I didn't come up with that term, but it's true.
It's true.
So put yourself out there. So your personality, as far as talking to you, because I haven't dealt with you in a bartending environment. I've dealt with you personally. How does that, your personality itself, it's kind of a silly question in a way, but how does that translate into your bartending and how you actually deal with people who are actually strangers coming into your bar?
I mean, you don't treat like, the first thing when I learned and when I started in hospitality was, they're not customers, they're guests. They're guests at your house, they're guests at your bar.
Yeah.
And you just treat them as you want to be treated. I mean, I know like here, the great thing is like, if I'm really busy, I'll acknowledge you. I'm like, hey, I'll be right with you. That just bought yourself 30 seconds. But if you're just ignoring someone, it doesn't. So it's just one of those things that I just apply how I want to be treated when I go to a bar.
It's
just pretty simple.
Word.
Talk to everybody. If someone doesn't, the only thing is if someone doesn't know something about like that menu can throw you off because you're like, what is that? What is that? What is that?
Right.
And you have to explain it and take the time to explain it. So yeah.
It's a big difference, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference between that and someone who just,
Yeah, totally. I mean, you can tell there's bartenders that make it and make a career and stay in it, and there's some that just don't,
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, Will, so what's this, man?
So that is Love Crazed Monster Crushes World, but we call it Mothra. It's funny. So we hear like we're it's on the menu. We're like us bartenders like, oh, Mothra, and they kind of look at us. I'm sorry. But it's basically a version of a Manhattan. Somebody wants something a little bit boozy, a little bit more straightforward.
Sounds like my kind of drink.
Yeah, you have Suntory Toki again featured. You have Vermouth Rojo, which is Yisaira, which is a Spanish vermouth. It's a little bit on the sweeter side. And then you have Bergamot tea, which is going to be your kind of bittering agent.
Oh,
so it's a combination of those two.
Right? Man,
yeah,
instantly.
Yeah, totally.
Whoa, that is amazing.
Yeah. So that's one of my personal favorites. I always tell people because somebody's like, oh my God, there's too much fruit juice, there's too much, and you want something boozy and stirred, that would be it.
This is so good, dude. Is this something this is just for this menu?
Just for this menu, but we always try to have one of those for, it's been one of those things that Paul Taylor and Jared Drink Company, we've always tried to do, is always have a stirred boozy cocktail to always go, because there's always someone that's always going to be like, I don't want citrus, I don't want fruit juice, I want something a little bit more straightforward.
I would order this every time I came here.
And the great thing too with this menu is that you have a lot of great Japanese whiskeys.
Yeah, this is something special right here. Producer Ted's behind the camera, man. I wish you could have one right now. So this goes into my next question.
Sure.
What's your favorite spirit?
My favorite spirit, that's a tough one. It's kind of like, I have two daughters, so it's kind of like me saying which is one of my favorite. But it's kind of like, I would have to say because of the workmanship, the craftsmanship, and me personally been so now with it, so much doing it, I would say mezcal, because I've gotten to do a lot more, I've gotten to do a lot of hands-on things. I've actually gone down and helped cook agave and do stuff like that. So it's
word.
Yeah.
Oh, you got your hands into the dirt.
Totally.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the most difficult spirit to craft cocktails with?
I don't know. It's a really good question. I would have to say something with why am I forgetting? Baijiu. Baijiu is a Chinese spirit. It's very particular in flavor, and I'm not trying to. But it's really, really difficult to taste and to work with.
And to blend with
honestly, and I'll say this on camera, I've never had the courage to work with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because just tasting on its own is kind of a lot of work. But that would probably be one that I would think. But I mean, for the most part, every spirit lends to, you can always work with something. I find gin to be one of the most versatile. I love gin.
Yeah, gin is
fantastic. And then whiskey. Whiskey, you can do a lot more things and more products and more additives. More. I mean, how can I say? I want to say more liqueurs and things are coming. And more Amaros come out. They lend really well to whiskey.
Word.
So it's one of those things that I think I'll say back to that question, I would say Baijiu.
Okay, word. Yeah, I've never even heard of it before. But it's something for me to go research.
It's Chinese. It's made it's a grain spirit, and it's made from sorghum. It's made from various other things, but yeah, it's very particular in flavor. Yeah.
My next question, man, is if you had an opportunity to speak to younger Will, what would you advise him on?
Oh, wow.
Coming into the industry.
No, I agree.
Let's narrow it down a little bit.
I think just kind of sticking it out in a couple of places. There are a couple of opportunities in the past that I should have just stuck it out and maybe waited, but me being impatient, me being like, I'm going to go here. And I was just a journeyman, and I was just a journeyman for a little bit, for a while. And so I finally made that decision to kind of focus and go into craft. And I kind of avoided doing craft for a while. I always wanted to do speed. I wanted to bartend at clubs because that's where the money's at, you know.
Right.
And then once I got bitten by the craft bug, I went back. I've always now that's all I do. I just craft bartend.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, totally enjoy it. The ability to create and the ability to elevate someone's experience at a place. I had that honor at Columbia Room, which is great. Just making a drink that was wow, this is mind blowing. something that they were, hey, I want something that is bitter, but has an egg white. You know, they give you all these different variables, and you make it and you execute, and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
People always kind of like blink or like hesitant with egg white. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Egg white is fantastic in drinks. It adds a nice element.
It is, but it's what a lot of people, it's the smell. And I mean, techniques that a lot of us bartenders do. What I do is lemon peel or lemon oil, spritz it on top or on the side of the glass, just so that when you're going to smell or drink out of it, you don't have that.
Instead. I don't have a problem with egg white. It doesn't offend me.
No, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the texture. I love that. Making drinks that have. My first couple of cocktails I created were always egg whites. So it was like people are like, "Oh, Will came up with an egg white cocktail." I was like, "Yeah,
it's another Will drink."
It's another Will drink.
Like a little foamy on top. So, my last question, man. I've posed this question once before. Is there any hidden talents that you have that only your friends, close friends, and family know about?
Not really. Someone was saying, bet you could dance or you can act. I was like, no, I can't do it.
No, you look like you could dance.
I dance salsa. I love salsa.
Okay, I can dig that.
I'm Latino, so I have to.
Right.
But no, I'm a writer. That's a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I was a writer. I've actually had a book, poetry book published, is in the Library of Congress. So it's like,
man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So it's one of those things I used to. I still write here and there, but more for myself than anything.
It's passion. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That the art, whatever the art is, and your passion, you can't get rid of it, man. Totally. You know what I'm saying? You'll forever be a writer.
Yeah.
So that's dope. That's something I didn't know about you. And probably a lot of people didn't. So
yeah,
we out here now, baby. Whiskey and kicks. We bring it out of you, man. I appreciate you coming by, man. But we're going to talk some shoes before we let you go.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to talk about some shoes, man.
Sure.
You know, I'm not sure if you're a big sneakerhead like I am or big on shoes, but what do you have for us today? What we want to talk about?
I'm just going to talk about like functionality and stuff. This is my shoe. This is Air Roche. I don't even know how to properly pronounce it.
Is it Roche? My son called them Roches.
Roches, right?
Yeah.
Roche. So these shoes, these are the ones I've been consistently wearing almost for 3 or 4 years. Not the same exact shoe, obviously, but same different styles because they're super comfortable behind the bar. I've traveled with them. I've done pretty much everything with them. So those are my go-to shoes.
And that's the thing, man. You said you put them shits on today.
I'm going to put them on tonight, I'm going to put them on tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's not about, I got the newest Jordans and this and the third. Everybody has a shoe story, and this is yours. Functionality behind the bar. And the grip has to be good on these things because it gets crazy behind the bar, right?
Totally. These are super light. The sole is just really nice. And, I mean, I run with them. They're just super functional.
Yeah, Roches is like, it's like a feather in your hand. It's like nothing to it. I never tried them on. I'm pretty sure they're pretty comfortable. I wonder if they're going to come out with a new Roche with like a fly knit with a different type of fabric.
That's the only thing. That's the only downside.
Right,
the only downside of it is if you don't work clean behind the bar and you're getting a lot of water and
forget about
it.
Right. So, but it's functional, so it is whatever.
Totally.
You know what I mean? What you got on your feet right now?
So what I got, these are the ones that these are like my work boots. These are Doc Martens, and these I feel like
hell yeah.
You're walking in clouds with these. I mean, I bought these when I first started at Columbia Room, and that was about 2 years ago, and they're still rolling.
Hell yeah.
The sole is anti-slip. I mean, these bad boys, I put them dependable, super dependable. The only downside to them is that they are really, really heavy.
Oh, word.
Yeah, that's the only downside.
Are they steel toe?
Yeah. No, they're not.
Okay.
No.
But I think I see the Marines coming through you a little bit because those shine up on the tip. Yeah, they little shine up on the tip right there. So, but let me ask you, when you're gonna go out, you want to go out on a date or you want to go out to a function, what are you putting on your feet when you're going out?
I have it's funny. I have like 3 pairs of boots. I have 2, one Portuguese leather brown boot. It looks really nice.
There we go.
It's funny. I was thinking of bringing those, but I'm like, I don't want to carry all that.
It's all good.
Yeah, and then I have a pair of dress black shoes that I bought when I was in Vienna this summer. Yeah.
And there we go, man.
Yeah.
You walk around with some serious leather on your feet.
I do. That's how I've always have. I used to be like never been big time into like sneakers, but I do like, we were talking early on off camera, we were talking about the Air Maxes.
Yeah, those 270s.
Yeah, my brother's like, man, I was like, man, he showed him a picture of me. I was like, man, I might have to get back into it.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
Trust me, they're comfortable too, bro. They feel real good. So, look, man, I appreciate this. You know, you spending the time with us. And I'm really grateful for you inviting me over here to talk to you about whiskey, booze, and shoes, and whiskey and kicks, so on and so forth, man. So anything you want to tell the people, man, social media, anything like that, how to reach you?
Sure. Follow me. I'm on Instagram. My handle is Determined Protector, and pretty much, that's social media. That's as much. I mean,
for sure.
I know a lot of people are gonna watch our friends of mine anyway. So.
Come over to the pop-up bar.
Exactly. Come to pop-up bar and stay posted. I'll update through my social media what the next theme might be in the next couple of days.
For sure. I asked him earlier.
I have to.
I asked earlier. He didn't tell me. So
I have to keep that. I have to keep that one for myself.
So the owners, you guys, you got a good guy here, man. He kept it sealed. And it's funny, man, because the other day I'm prepping for everything, and I took a break and I'm scrolling through Facebook and stuff. And one of my I have a lot of Facebook friends. A lot of them I don't know. You know. And she said, my favorite bartender, and she put your name and the Determined Protector, whatever. Yeah, she was at the pop-up bar. She's like, my favorite bartender, and put your hat. And I was like, I'll be talking to him in a few days. So that was dope, man. Let's talk about this hat too before we go, man. This
I always been trying to get into, like, especially for this this pop-up has been DC things. So the other hat I had was a burgundy Washington Wizards hat. And I saw this and I had to have it. And it's the All-Star, East and the DC.
So, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Will, man, I appreciate it, brother. It's been great.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Another dope episode.